greatest source of entertainment is coming straight out of your own neighborhoods. This is Residential Raw Talent. This program reflects the works and attitudes of local artists.
Crystal here.
I'm Galen Thomas.
I am
Enjoy the show.
having a moment of lapse in my brain about what I was going to say, but this is me and this is her, and you can't see her because she's down here, but this is who she is, and she's sitting here with me. She's my friend. She stays with me in the kitchen every time I'm in the kitchen. But I've started a book, and the name of the book is Everyday Use of Suffering, and it's about life. It's about every day that we suffer as humans and how we use our suffering, or do we use our suffering? And I want to use my suffering for the betterment of the rest of us who are suffering and don't know how to use it. And I put mine on paper, and some of us sing, some of us play instruments, some of us run video cameras, some of us take care of our children, some of us work, and we use our suffering to better ourselves. And this is what I want to do. I want to push us forward, everyone that's suffering, and let you know that that's what being human is. It's about suffering and learning how to deal with it and helping each other along. So, everyday use of suffering. And the first poem is All Spaces Appear. And I like to start some of them with a Bible verse that I didn't always follow the Bible, but now that I'm getting to this point in my life, it's come back to me because I see how it's been working in me, with me, through me, around me, everywhere. It's just coming back to me, the stronghold of faith. So, everyday use of suffering. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Psalms 23. For thou art with me. All spaces appear. Where's the silver lining when all spaces appear tarnished? A continual barrage of doings to keep up with from 5 in the morning till 5 the next morning. A light burned out. What's for dinner? And it needs more salt because it tastes like nothing. Is homework done? I don't have any. So what's this email from French about a test tomorrow? Can I have my birthday party at a hotel? He's head over heels. And my rent and water are late. But pussy don't equate to dollars, and he makes no sense. And plays without sense when sucking his thing he could care less about. So what's the point in showing appreciation when what I need isn't there? And his view of respect is what he wants to show. But that's not what I need. You respect is appreciated. Yes, respect is appreciated. But what of my ideas on how I want respect? Not that I need anyone to tell me respect for me. I've lived enough from my own perspective to know my difference in respect. Just a few weeks back, I was considering how to die. We've all wondered how others would get along without us and compare our sufferings that they give us, that at times more than not do become overwhelming, no matter the strength we appear to possess. That at a moment I didn't want physical pain, but just the end to berating, unappreciative behavior, compounded with lacking support from those I live with. Not saying they don't have love for me, because we are family. We're family. But hate towards me is felt often enough that the wondering of how they get along without me would be interesting, yet sad. So I continue on, because playing games with hurtful words kill. Continue on with how. How do I get through this for the next 8 years? plus an elder who isn't satisfied, and then I think, is that my final countdown? Anxiety pills? I don't know. Insurance might get costly, and my black ass isn't worth it in this racist society. Then we have addiction to consider, because those pills may get good. Well, let me get off this toilet so Mother can do her business, of which she complains about needing one downstairs. Along with a bigger house, I ask how I take that. Maybe go live with my sister has one. She's got 3. And leave my ideas alone. On a good day, which are most days, I'd have it no other way. Everyday use of suffering. Sacrifice. Our babies need our sacrifice to become their life's joy and success. It's not money, booze, sex for sport, or hate. Only the simple joy of affection and time. Sacrifice is the means to the end of their success. It's in a mom's true love. I don't remember when I wrote that one, but I was just sitting around and I was looking at all of our little babies and our little children, little 4-year-olds running on the street waiting with their mommies to catch the bus, and mommy on her cell phone, and the babies in the stroller, and the other babies trying to get mommy's attention. And sitting at the light, I thought, sacrifice. So that's where sacrifice came from. And figure out where to run, because I always want to figure out where to run. I'm always trying to get away. I'm always trying to figure out how to get out of this stuff that I'm in. But again, it's my everyday use of suffering. So figure out where to run. It's the feeling you always want to run from. Only you can never figure out where to run. Because where you want to run is into the arms of your lover friend. That's unavailable because you really don't have one, but dying to have. And all there is loneliness. Would anyone even care or understand my alone? It's one of those feelings unexplainable, especially when you have a relationship, because you're not supposed to feel that way, not to mention mentioning it. It's the hard part of being honest with yourself and the other that you're lonely with. It's missing love, I tell you. It's missing love. I mean, what else is there to say? How else do you describe that edge? That place of deception we get out into our relationships and get from and get about our relations. The desire for moving, living, and satisfaction for me. I know it's found in me, but the tightness that I felt in my chest last night that had me thinking the question of, is my heart attacking me? I rolled over on my side, changing positions, checking if that would help. Nope. Nope. Let me try another. Nope. Deep breath and relax. Deep breath and relax. Okay. There is no pain. It's just being alone that's attacking my heart, attacking me. I swear it's missing true love. That love that lets you say to the person, hey, that hurts me when I hear you say that. They reply, thanks for sharing your feelings with me and feeling safe with me, to be honest. I feel appreciated that you trust me enough to know I won't get even and offended by your hurt and honesty. I remember that love in high school. I was like 16 when I sat down with my lover friend and we shared that understanding and trust. Although he cheated on me with my roommate, as they do sometimes, hence the beginning of love's distrustful demise. The joys of experience in gaining wisdom. Ha. Ha. When we are still, we can perceive things as they are. When we are still, when the mind is still, when we are not making things crazy, there is clarity. Don't I know? Don't I know what it's like to be out of town? All is quiet. No questions to answer. No discharge. I love being away from you, thinking what it is I love about a man so much. His softness, the way it hangs when it's soft, the length and how he hides it in the God-given skin, or shy, or even deceit. Yes, I agree. It is nice when you are away. I wrote that about someone. Close friend of mine. Very close friend of mine. Skinly close friend of mine. And the next one is called A Bit. Inadequate and frustrated leads me to question what I'm doing with this man, and I'm bored. Drinking is not the solution, especially since I work in the morning. He's fresh out of ideas. And I want someone who has ideas and doesn't mind paying. I want to hide in my room. Slim. I feel low, and motivation is slim for things right now. I don't understand me. Is it him? What am I waiting on? Is it age filled with self? Unaccomplished to the status of money and ease? The voice in me keeps me down. Or is it the alcohol sitting in my liver? Tearful. Tearful and intolerant. I'm not in the mood. How do I know I'm not too concerned? It feels like there is a point when there is no use, because the point comes, or so it feels, that there is no fit anywhere for anything. And not that I've been everywhere, but enough to know human nature and behavior. And the part where I fit has not existed except for within me. But within me doesn't pay the bills, and what's in me isn't enough to pay the bills in a manner of my thinking. Then there are children, and how do you leave them to their own immature nature and advice and device? Figuratively, of course, because only I know, even though others have his or her opinions that may work. It doesn't change the words floating through my ego to the real me. Old and worthless. Hear me tell it on a worthless day of tears that ebb and flow. I look up to see the moon on this clear day. But like right now, kind of like stuck on this side. Not like I'm complaining or anything, but like right now I struggle. Yes, it was my choice, and after 14 years of nurturing my two girls, I thought it time to get back out there. Although only I know parenting and heartache. That's all I know. I guess that's enough for those who aren't looking for a business executive, because that I ain't. That being said, I'm an executor, most certainly. Wow. That's where it is. I just figured where all my motivations have skipped out of town to live. Now I must be home, still to keep up with my girls. The continual road of direction. Money is short, but guidance is long, and love is constant. My ego says I'm just being lazy and unmotivated. Spirit says it's nurturing. Or is that the lazy spirit ego? I don't know. It's feeling like tired, perhaps depressed, clinically, only never to admit those facts, because I can manage the anxiety of living it. In my skin every day, or paranoia, neither admit it, but thoughts do express themselves as if a total person they were. And sounds like more than one exists to create this imagery. It blew right over me. And by the way, does that mean I am patient with those less fortunate? And the fortunate think me intolerant of them. Sometimes I don't care. To be able to care for my defending me, and to be able to care for me defending my honor. Is that not important? How does the shepherd lead the sheep if not for healing self? With that, I don't know if it's clearly defined what either of the two do and how existing together produces anything of the sort. Under my skin. He tremendously gets under my skin. I don't like hearing him talk because I know it's bullshit and bullshit disrupts me. I'm remembering if I ever, and this is my karma to work out. Is he me? Hi, Anita. If this is me, then I'm most grieved. I must examine my awareness. I must shut up. I truly recognize the stress of being a pent-up woman, unable to or allowed to talk to her friends. That gives her strength. And this man who calls himself that does nothing for my strength, but turns it to a battle of wills. I then have to pull out my reserve strength to use against him for my defense. Some may see, in some ways, he is giving me strength, but not the strength of my great joy to persevere. Damn it! It'd be nice if my changes were from respect and trust, not forced from insecurity, fear, and a life now laid to rest. To righteousness. I lie down in green pastures. Although not enough besides still water, restoring my soul to righteousness even in the shadows of death, I do not fret, for life is a constant threat of toil. Searching shame, guilt, suffering, condemnation of judgment, and whom shall I fear? But I and my enemies, as I take hold of the rod and the staff to comfort me, shaming them for their hypocrisy. Having skyscrapers in their own eyes, continually using the I'm not perfect or I'm human for a pass. How dare he? As I do not make claims of righteousness, seeking light to further rising, I die daily. Now I know. Unsung hero of sports I am. Passed up by education's opportunity, all in the name of the Lord and his men, who preach from the prophetess who herself, a drunk, taught no competition as my caregivers found a home in following this habit. Her name was Ellen White. I can hear it being said. That is talk of the past. Forgive and move on. Challenging. I'm not feeling fully loaded. I know I'm in there somewhere. I do want to lay on bed, but no, it's not healthy emotionally. I do care, but energy is passed between others and my reserve is meeting a reserve. I don't even sit in my yard much or burn my fires. I don't want to hear the world. Into Pandora I retreat. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. The words of others. I wanted to teach, learn your own God. She doesn't understand my raising her on my own with my ideas because of my parents' ideas. She takes the word of others, not mine. I keep her from the world. She hates me so that she doesn't want to help around her house and clean her messes. I haven't done enough for her and don't do for her like she wants and believes I should. Like be adult-like, have boyfriends, run the streets without me watching. She doesn't comprehend how chores relate to the real world's lessons. She doesn't get it. I release her to her own ways and world. John gave her reasons that talk about God and his idea of sex. She said I told her nothing. She wants me to give her what I don't know if I have to give as this journey I take alone. I can only say I'm sorry. I loved her too much that I hold her back now. Daddy love for all those girls raised without their daddy. This is a thought as I was a teenager without my daddy, but my daddy was still at home with mom, where I wanted to be, but had to be away in a boarding school and understand what happens to girls when they don't have their daddy love. Jumping into sex for daddy love and attention runs the high risk of pregnancy at an early age. Not to say that rape doesn't create pregnancy as well. Parenting begins by first understanding our parents, the style of parenting they chose to use on us. For there we ask of its effectiveness relating to us as individuals. Was it positive loving, respectful abuse, caring, nurturing, safe, and meeting Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I don't know, but where's daddy love? My bed, I left it last night. I couldn't sleep in it. Wasn't ready. So I called a liege and he drove. I left the spaceship to travel abroad. Listening to the sounds of the street and its voices in the night, again I feel low and motivation is slim. Slim for things. Slim for a lot right now. I don't understand the R-ism or me. What am I waiting on? Is it age filled with self-unaccomplishment to the status of money and ease? The voice in me keeps me down, or is it the alcohol sitting in my liver again? Because it sits in my liver often. And then I look at her and I see a withering flower. Only to see a withering flower still growing and full of life, reaching out, raging for her destiny. At the same time within, I feel vulnerable to be the strongest mother for you, and myself, still a woman to self. Both of us, me, creating misunderstandings and confusion about it, receiving and sending messages, instigating some sort of clarity at being heard, only to become jumbled as I am a single seed in my garden of life at present. Though often buried, or so it feels, in the ever-consuming life of my parenting style as a daughter among my female aging parent, male deceased, I look for separation to find me. Does daddy affect our relationship? I wrote this in 2015. I dare ask so deep a fear to face the knowing our roots. At her age, my dad was home. At her age, her dad is in space. His space. A space with space that creates space for more space, determining the distance of their space. Her space. A gap full of space that spaces out our relationship, placing her and I in a space at times, when it's most valuable that she be here, on the ground, like boots marching, enforcing a presence that displays action-provoking thought to a world. That she is here, confidently expressing herself appropriately, in the manner in which displays determination and strong acts of will. Will do, will see, will not allow others, will to invade my space in this mother-daughter relation. Father of mine, still living in space, but that you pressed your will on my mom's space, that took up her space with your selfish space. As you entered her space of quiet darkness, as she came to you to say goodbye. Forever no longer desiring you in her space that you took so convincingly that day in your space, concocting a way to trick her into giving up her private space in your space that day. I was conceived against her will. But not that she claimed will against hers in the space of that law. So I ask again, what has Daddy done to our relationship? Separated himself while separately separating her from him and me. As she longs for him to love her, separating herself from seeing how separated we are. As she hates me for standing up for her, when it is the separation he provides that has created that hate, that forces me to stand up and in a space for her, as he continues to separate himself from her. which creates separation between her and I because of her ugly hatred towards me, as she acts out on me, of which he rightly deserves. For the separation, not only of the two, but all three of us together. Is that the end of what Daddy has done to this relationship as I cry at times for her emptiness? That only he can feel separately in his space with her. Daily I feel her loneliness and separation as she is cut off from a love most valuable. That is the only love that proves most valuable to enhance a value in a girl beyond measure and mother. Some may disagree vehemently. Perhaps they do not want to give value to fathers, as I know my father gave value to me, that I know the loss and separation of living that space, and in that space, in my account and hers firsthand. Father has that aspect of perceived fearlessness and certain power that mom does not, that cannot help but give baby girl that knowing within that she is invincible, and baby girl believes herself. Of that, mommy cannot. But in that same moment, Daddy separated, exposes a false trust that weakens relationships within the world. I cannot speak of mom because that Daddy separation is not there for mommy. And she from mom's space, because mom is living in the space, filling the spaces Dad created as much as a mother is willing to fill. That is me, a mom. That's not all Daddy has done to this relationship, but the beginning of all relationships, and who she may choose to enter her spaces. The one who sows to please his sinful nature, from that nature will reap destruction. The one who sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. Galatians 6:7-8.
RRT is meant to be a door for new and upcoming talent and a vehicle for existing talent. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know if you want to be a part of the show. We hope that you've enjoyed this edition. We thank you for watching. And as always, we look forward to seeing you next time on Residential Raw Talent.